I'm gonna talk to you about being triggered and how you can actually get rid of that happening in your life and why that's happening. So I had this like aha moment today. When one of my former clients, who I fucking love and adore, Trienne, thank you. Trienne sent me a message today and she said, I shared your book with my entire email list. So my book, Rich Bitch Money Goals, Becoming the Energetic Match to Wealth. Here she is. It is here. It is available on Amazon. And when she sent me that email, that DM, I was so moved. And it's funny because I had been channeling earlier today on receiving. And one of the things that was coming up was around people who get triggered. So when I say get triggered, what I'm talking about is, I'll give you an example. I had a woman, she came into my DMs one time. I had never worked with this person before. I didn't know who she was, but apparently she had been following me, and I go by the Naked Coach, and that doesn't actually represent like being physically naked, though it could be. It really represents authenticity, vulnerability, transparency, and really allowing your full expression, like the fullest expression of you, to be infused into all of your creations and into your business as a key code to success. And so I had this woman come into my DMs and she told me that I really, really irritated her. It was, I guess I had posted something and I was half naked and it really triggered her. My body triggered her, my confidence triggered her. She was just really in a state of judgment. And she continued to follow me after that and started to love me and love my work and love the message, and something shifted for her. And so she came in to thank me for who I was and for what I stood for other women. And the beauty of that is there are moments where you're going to be triggered and you're going to transmute that into a breakthrough for yourself, or you're going to experience a trigger, right? Like a judgment. Let's say someone's celebrating a 7-figure month and you're like, I hate that person. I don't have that. I want that for myself. Life would be so much easier if they didn't exist. Like, what are they doing that I'm not doing? Why do they have that and I don't? Like that, right? You're triggered. You're irritated by somebody. You're judging them. When you're in that experience, you're in the experience of lack and separation. And what I know is that you will not experience being triggered by somebody else if you yourself are in a state of overflow. And so when you feel safe to receive, when you are actually in the experience of high-level creations in your life, which would mean that you are living your purpose, you are in alignment, you are in pursuit of the things that really fucking light your soul on fire. Like when you're in a state of overflow, you're not going to be triggered by somebody who is also in a state of overflow. But if you're a woman, I'm just using this as an example. If you're a woman who doesn't really love her body and you don't take care of it, and you've never really felt safe to be able to wear the things you want, or that just wasn't acceptable for you, and then you see this woman who's really liberated and she loves herself and she's wearing, I don't know, very little clothing, that might trigger you. You might be irritated by that, and you might start to feel less than, or whatever that is that you would do, and the conversations, the stories that you would tell yourself, right? Those limiting beliefs that would start to create that experience of lack and separation. She has something that I don't. Judgment, not love. And by the way, if we're in the experience of judgment, then we're in an experience of separation, because we lack that experience of unconditional love. And so what I know is that if you are getting triggered in your life, then what I want you to ask yourself is, where am I not experiencing overflow? An overflow of love in my marriage, my relationship, my self-love, my confidence, my business, my finances. Like, where are you not experiencing overflow in your life? Because if you can pinpoint that and recognize it and really truly get crystal clear, and then do something about it, right? Because you're going to hear me, if you follow me, you're going to hear me say time and time again, that insight alone means jack shit. Insight without action makes no difference. So you can have that insight and you can pinpoint where you're in the experience of lack and where you don't have that overflow that you desire to have. But if you don't do anything about it, then that's like, I know how to lose weight, but I'm going to eat the pizzas all day 24/7. That's not going to have you lose weight, right? So insight without action makes no difference. So if you're somebody that's been getting triggered by people, by celebrations, by money. I don't know, whatever you get triggered by. By the way, I have a chapter in here, speaking of triggers, and I speak to money as a specific trigger, though like a lot of things can be triggering, right? I use the example of like women. So it says money triggers, and I want to just read this first. This little paragraph here. It says money is triggering. Money triggers fear, envy, desire, judgment. It also triggers hope, inspiration, and generosity. And your money triggers will reveal the level of wealth consciousness that you're currently at. Your triggers in general are going to reveal the level of consciousness that you're at. And I'm not saying one is better than the other, but what I am saying is that there's a level of consciousness that allows you to create more from the experience of overflow, from the experience of excitement, aliveness, joy, self-love, confidence. And then there is the experience of creating from lack, and that does not work. You cannot create sustainable wealth if you are trying to create it in the frequency of lack. And so if you have been finding yourself getting triggered, you see people celebrating things, you see them in really loving relationships, you see other women and their confidence and they're showing off their bodies, and you're like, F that person, I don't like them. If you find yourself in that state, then I want you to ask yourself, where am I not feeling overflow in my life, and what is there for me to do about it? Where am I not feeling overflow of self-love, overflow of confidence, overflow of abundance, overflow of sexy boundaries? Right? Like, boundaries are sexy. Like, where are you not in the experience of overflow? Because I'm telling you right now, if you are experiencing overflow in your life and you are in love with all that you are creating, you will not be triggered by somebody else who is also in overflow and who is in their zone of genius. There is nobody that can take anything away from you that is meant to be yours. There is no such thing as competition except that of the mind. Competition only exists in the mind. And so it's been really beautiful to witness the, I will say, overflow of those of you that have been sharing my book, like tagging me in your stories, sharing this with your communities, Trienne sharing this with her email list. Like, that represents a safe woman, a woman who feels safe within herself and within her own creations to be able to support and acknowledge and celebrate the success that others are in the experience of. And that is fucking freedom. That is freedom. Nobody else's success takes away from you. And I want you to experience that level of liberation within yourself, especially if you are a business owner or you're an online coach, because if you actually believe that competition exists, then you're always going to experience lack. You will always experience it. But when you're in a state of overflow and you actually understand and you know and you trust that everything that is meant to be experienced for you could never be taken away or diminished by anyone else's light, it gives you this sense of freedom and liberation to shine even brighter, but then to also highlight and shine a spotlight on those who are also shining, because you actually recognize that by witnessing their light and seeing their success, that is a mirror of you as well. And so you're either in the experience of overflow or you're in the illusion of separation and lack. And if you're in the illusion of separation and lack, and I say illusion because it's not real, lack gets created in the mind. Overflow of love, of abundance, of money, of wealth, of excitement, of all the things, that at our core is who we are to experience ourselves as, in every now, at all times, in all ways. So I love you. I hope that you really do the work to free yourself from getting triggered and understand that if you are feeling that way, it's likely that you are settling in areas of your life that you are not fully expressing yourself to the capacity that you desire to. It's possible that you are really not in alignment with your purpose, and that there's aspects of your life that need to be brought back into alignment, energetic leaks that have to be plugged. So I'm going to shout out my book because obviously, because it just came out this week. So if you have not gotten your copy of Rich Bitch Money Goals, Becoming the Energetic Match to Wealth, you can do so on Amazon. I'm going to post a link in this video here. I love you, truly. Thank you so much to every single person that has not only purchased a copy of this book, but that has shared it with their community, that has tagged me in their stories. Like, I am so blown away by the overflow of love and celebration that each and every one of you have been just showering me with. And I want you to know I love you so much and I am so grateful. And this is just the beginning of so much goodness. I love you.